Welcome back to the inaugural JNS International Policy Summit, hosted here at the Waldorf Astoria in the heart of Jerusalem. I'm Ariella Novak, journalist and co-founder of Shield Communications PR and Bottom Line Media. I'm excited to be podcasting throughout the day of this day two of historic event. This summit brings together top government officials, diplomats, security experts, and pro-Israel leaders for vital conversations on Israel's greatest challenges and opportunities in a post-October 7th world. Together, we'll explore the bold ideas and strategies that will help shape Israel's future as a military, economic, and moral superpower on the global stage. I'd now like to welcome a guest whose insights and expertise really bring depth to today's conversation. Please welcome Ambassador Alan Baker, one of Israel's foremost experts in international law, a former ambassador to Canada, as the director of the Jerusalem Center at Foreign Security Affairs. He's been deeply involved in shaping the regional diplomacy, including the Oslo Accords and peace treaties with Egypt, Jordan, and Lebanon. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming here today. We're going to begin with a few questions, okay?
Sure.
All right. So today, I want to discuss your experience with international law. What legal challenges does Israel face in defending its right to self-defense, especially regarding international criticism of military operations?
Well, first of all, defending our rights is not a challenge, it's our right. And our whole diplomacy should be, rather than apologizing and explaining, rights-based diplomacy. We have rights, we're under attack, we're entitled to defend ourselves, we're entitled to express our views in the international community, and despite any negative criticism by the international community, this shouldn't make any impression. We have the right, and we should forward our right and advance it as much as we can.
Could you give an example?
Well, for instance, for 80 years we've adopted a hasbara policy, explaining ourselves.
Yeah, constantly defending and explaining.
Defending, apologizing, giving excuses, rather than saying, look, we are acting in accordance with our rights. We don't need to apologize, we don't need to explain, we don't need to cringe before the international community.
What should we be doing?
We should be explaining what we're doing in a positive, assertive, forthright manner, and not apologizing. That's it.
We're done.
Yeah, we don't need to try and get the international community to like us. We've done this for 80 years, and they don't like us. And they'll find every reason not to like us, whatever we say or whatever we do. So we have to say and do what we have to say and do.
I couldn't agree more. Now, in your view, how can Israel better balance its security concerns with its international image, especially in an area of increased digital activism and social media-driven campaigns?
Look, I'm asked this by many of the, especially the legal elements in Israel's government, including those that are dealing with the Nukhba terrorists.
Yes.
And my answer is this.
Can you define that for those who may not know?
Those terrorists who carried out the most disgusting aspects of the massacre on the 7th of October. The people who raped and burned and killed,
yes,
and cut off heads and one thing and another. And, you know, Israel
Which we saw on their videos.
Okay, well, these people are presently awaiting a trial. And
according to international law.
Well,
yeah.
According to Israeli law, they infiltrated into Israel, they committed crimes in Israel, they're held by the Israeli authorities, and they'll be put on trial in Israel. It's not an issue of international law. And the Israeli authorities who are dealing with this, my advice to them is, don't think about what the world might think or what the world might say. You have to do what you need to do. And if you put these people on trial, and the outcome is a serious outcome, and it could be a long range of penalties and punishments, that should be your consideration. Don't take into consideration what the international community will think. That's for people like me, for the foreign ministry and others to describe or explain, but not to apologize.
Absolutely. That's the common message here, not to apologize. Now, how do you assess the influence of international organizations like the United Nations in shaping global opinion on Israel, and what role should Israel play within these institutions to better defend its hostility?
Okay, look, international organizations are the sum total of the states that are members of them. So in other words, if the United Nations is composed of 193 states, 193 states, or the majority, will dictate what their policy is. The United Nations, the Charter of the United Nations, which is the constitutive document that binds all the states, is a very liberal document giving every state complete sovereign equality, working for peace, working for positive relations. But the UN has, for a long time, absolutely lost its direction, and isn't acting in accordance with its charter. In legal terms, it's called ultra vires. The UN is acting against its charter, and for this reason, the UN no longer has a right to exist. The UN should be dissolved and changed, and a new organization of democratic countries, responsible democratic countries that aren't taken hostage by non-democratic states, should be set up or should exist. Now, do
you think there's a way we can get to that?
Well, you might say that I'm unrealistic, but the truth is that if the United States, which pays 25% of the UN budget, pulls out its membership fees, then the UN will completely dissolve. And if other states follow, then the UN won't function, and a new organization will have to be established. And I think now it's possible. With the US administration, which has similar views regarding the UN, I think this is possible. Now take any of the other organizations. The International Health Organization, for instance. It's been completely politicized. Its initial aim is professional, to deal with health, but it's been politicized, and its decisions and its policies are run on the basis of political reasons. The same with the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice, which is a UN body. All these bodies have regrettably, and I say this as an international lawyer, and part of my expertise are these international judicial bodies. And it's sad for me to see this, but they've been ruined. The International Criminal Court has been completely ruined and politicized, and the International Criminal Court itself is in a huge dilemma now with the way the Palestinians are manipulating them to issue these arrest warrants against Netanyahu and the former defense minister. It realizes that it's basically pulling the carpet from under its own feet, because it's become so politicized that nobody's taking it seriously anymore. The same with the UN, the same with the World Health Organization, the same with UNESCO, the United Nations Educational.
How do we stop these from populating?
Well, if serious states pull their funding and condition any...
Similar to what's going on now, hopefully within college campuses.
Condition anything on the fact that you come back to be a professional, serious organization and remove all the politicization, then this is the only way to do it. But it needs assertive action. And now I'm coming back to this concept of being assertive, not being apologetic. We don't have to apologize for anything. And states who are serious should be concerned that these organizations are doing them a disservice. And so they need to worry. And until the European states and the US and others take seriously international organization and act to bring them back to being serious international organizations, so this wave of politicization will simply undermine the international community.
And does the role of media, do you see playing a role in this in any way?
Well, look, media, and excuse me because I know you're into media, but media...
I can't confirm or deny.
Media will run after whatever is sensational. And so the media will follow on from what they feel the international community wants. And so again, the media isn't interested in real justice or anything like that. The media is interested in what's interesting.
I couldn't agree more with you sometimes. On that note, thank you so much for joining me. Alan Baker, you are a tremendous voice. I love your opinions. Both before our conversation, we had a lovely chat about different things happening at this conference. It really is beautiful to be here. Thank you so much for joining us here at JNS, and I look forward to continue our conversation, listening to you speak. And on behalf of everyone here at JNS, I'll be bringing you along. My name is Ariella Novak. Stand by for our next podcast. See you there.